All right, well, good morning, everybody. It is Friday, September 20th, 2024. We're going to be moving into fall here over the weekend. Always a really, really awesome season, so looking forward to it, getting into the holidays as well at the end of this contract. So just looking at something here. Yeah, Kevin, I'll get that out to you so you have those templates. So in case I'm not here, you have the 512 and the 3-minute setup. So we can talk about that after the broadcast here. But let's do a quick review of yesterday. This will be pretty quick because yesterday was just kind of lackluster in my opinion. But there were still some good opportunities that I want to mention. So let's scroll on back to the open here yesterday. Remember, still the warning was on Monday that this whole week could be kind of wonky, right? There are beautiful holds off of our moving averages and levels, but overall might be a little messy. And I do feel like it was a bit, we had lots of holds and they just happened to be just about 2 points through our level. So I don't like that. I like to see those beautiful holds to the tick or within a point. But let's take a look and see here. So the market open, we were testing right up in front of the all-time high on the S&P futures, which was 57.82. We just came up shy of it in the pre-market, and then right at the open retested that high and then started this pullback. So probably the best thing you could have done yesterday was to jump in right here, right off the 200, right after the crossover. Basically the test of the back end of what will probably become one of our scaffolding levels on this new contract. And again, would have taken on maybe just a few ticks of heat there, and you could have gotten a good trade right to VWAP if you were going to take profit there, or previous daily high and VWAP, and right at the holy orange power level. So you could have got a pretty hefty trade right within those first 10-20 minutes of the open yesterday. And then from there, like I said, I'm just not a huge fan of the price action because they would come right to our levels, go through it by quite literally 2 points, and then come right through. And it would have been a great opportunity there if you had a slightly wider stop on your trade. So good opportunity off Hopel if you had a slightly wider stop, and then a great opportunity right off the 200 as it was starting to push out with the crossover. First test, again, it did go through, I think, just about 2 points there, right? So those were still two pretty good opportunities. And then after that, I just thought it was a little bit messy outside of the fact that they did hold VWAP one tick in front of it, right? But other than that, the rest of the day just chopped back and forth, really. I mean, we did trend higher technically and get to a new high, but if we zoom out and take a look, it just kind of chopped around in a tight range. Didn't necessarily hold the levels to the tick perfectly, except for some of the stuff inside the chop, right? So you did have holds off the 200, but you also have a lot of instances where it was just chopping through it. So a little bit messy at the end of the day there, and that's basically how it went. That's why I said this will be pretty quick, because as you can see, it was a little bit of a chop fest. And in this case, look at the volume compared to the other day, especially with that news drop. Look at the volume. I could fit all this well within one screen here, and I'm talking about the 512 tick, right? Because this is a volume chart. So slightly lower volume, if you ask me, and a little bit more wonky, right? So that was it. Like I said, best trade was right out of the open. First test of the 200, first test of the scaffolding level or temporary scaffolding level. You would have got yourself a pretty good trade, and you could have walked away at about 9 a.m. Central. So let's take a look at what happened here coming into the open now. As you can see, it's been a pretty nice short time frame downtrend, holding the back end of the 200. However much it's peaked through has been holding the back end of the 200 the whole way down. And last night you got two beautiful opportunities to short the back end of the 200, quite literally to the tick, right? So you could have got in the first test right out of the Globex open here was to the tick. You could have got in, zero risk, and you could have made 10, 15 points to the downside easily. So there was that. There was the second test of the 200 here, where you could have once again gotten yourself at least a nice 10-point push down to the low of the overnight session here. And then you even rode the back end of the VWAP as we started to get the break to the lower low compared to the earlier low in the market there, came back up, held the back end, and came back. And I think we may have, and I don't want to have to eat my words, we didn't have the hopeful up on there until about a couple of minutes after that test, and they came up right in front of it. In fact, tagged our temporary scaffolding and got a decent little pullback from there. So there were some good opportunity last night if you're trading across the world and it's not 2-3 in the morning for you. And now let's go ahead and see as we come into the open here. Looks like we're still getting rejections every time the bulls try to pop it. And so that's it. That's our review for the last day. Let's go ahead and jump up to the higher time frames and see what they have to say for this morning.